In this lecture, we'll consider the idea of an entire ceremonial city as art. The great classic period Maya city of Copan is located on the southeastern edge of the Maya region in what is now Honduras. Since the 1890s, it's been the site of nearly constant archaeological investigation, so a great deal is known about its history. It contains some of the most extensive hieroglyphic texts in the Maya world. There's evidence that the Copan Valley was being farmed as early as 1400 BC, and that homes were being constructed of stone as early as 1000 BC. The earliest known elite burial dates to about 900 BC. Around 100 BC, the population of the Copan Valley began to rise, and a more complex social organization emerged. The inhabitants dug irrigation canals and began draining swampy areas in order to practice group farming. The main Acropolis at Copan was built over many generations as a series of constructions, one layer over another. Before each new layer was built, the previous structure was covered in a thick layer of clay. In the late 19th century, the Copan River, having changed its course, began cutting into this Acropolis. The river was diverted and the side of the Acropolis was left exposed. When archaeologists began excavating tunnels into the layers of clay between the structures, they discovered the grave of the founder of Copan's dynasty of rulers. Altar Q, located in front of Temple 16, had a record of the first 16 kings of Copan, including the dynasty founder Yaxcucmo, or first Quetzalmacaw. The altar was dedicated on September 5, 426, to commemorate him and the kings who followed. Structure 16, part of the main Acropolis, contains within its earlier phases some of the most important architecture at Copan. After tunneling 25 meters below the top of the structure, archaeologists found a stucco facade featuring two birds with intertwined necks. One of these is a quetzal and the other a macaw. Together they spell Cucmo, while smaller symbols around them read Yash. The sculpture as a whole indicates Yaxcucmo. The facade was part of a building now known as the Margarita Temple. Inside, at the bottom of a stairway, was the tomb of Yaxcucmo's wife. She had been interred after Yaxcucmo's death. Beneath the tomb of his wife, Yaxcucmo's tomb was discovered in a building that has been called the Hunal tomb. When Yaxcucmo died in 437, his son Popol Vuh became the second king of Copan. He embarked on a major program of building. He commissioned the Margarita tomb for his mother and had his father's name put on it in the stucco facade. Popol Vuh probably also commissioned Stela 63 at Copan. This stela, or large standing stone, is carved with hieroglyphs. These describe an important calendrical event. While Maya hieroglyphs are a system of writing, they're also strongly pictorial. Clearly there's something aesthetic about this monument. It isn't simply something that conveys information. Near Stela 63 is a grave capstone known as the Motmot stone. It depicts Popol Vuh and his father in the next world. Separating them are two columns of text. Notice how all the space seems to be filled, either with the adornments surrounding the figures or with the glyphs of the text. This is a typically classical Maya trait. Many of Copan's rulers are depicted on the hieroglyphic stairway of Temple 26. The text carved there is the longest at any Maya site. It includes 2,200 glyphs, although unfortunately they haven't survived well. The fronts of all the steps are hieroglyphs. Using computer-generated reconstructions of the stairway, archaeologists have been able to piece together important historical information. From an aesthetic point of view, The stairway must have been impressive. Essentially, using it would have been like walking up a long text. Maya hieroglyphs in a context like this are essentially relief sculptures. So experiencing them would have been like looking at a large work of art in which there were repetitions of certain motifs. In the 6th century, the main religious structure at Copan was the temple now known as the Rosalila Temple. It was dedicated to the sun god Kinish Awa. It was discovered, extremely well preserved, beneath Temple 25. The rooms have been deliberately filled with mud, and the painted stucco reliefs have been protected with a thick application of white stucco. While the Rosalila Temple remains underneath Temple 25, a full-scale reconstruction has been made at the Copan Museum. It's accurate in every detail. The original is 12.9 meters tall, and it has 3 stories. The lower level is divided into 4 long and narrow rooms. On the facade above the doorway is a portrait of Yash Kukmo, the founder of Copan's dynasty. Below, directly above the doorway, is the head of a witz monster. On either side of this head are crocodile heads in profile. Above the portrait of Yash Kukmo is Itzamna, the sky deity. The surface reliefs were all molded in stucco. The red color of the temple was typical of Maya buildings in general. Today, Maya ruins are just stone, but the stucco that covered them originally would have in most cases been painted red like this. At the time when the Rosalila Temple was built, the city of Tikal, Copan's most important ally, was weakening, but there's no evidence of that at Copan. The population of the city was still increasing under the reigns of the next 2 kings. Copan's 11th ruler, Butz Chan, or Smoke Serpent, is depicted on this stela. Smoke Serpent ruled for more than 50 years. Copan's most famous ruler, 18 Rabbit, built the last version of the ball court, which you see here. It was dedicated in 739. The ball game, which had many versions, but was generally played with a rubber ball and only a few players, was widespread throughout Mesoamerica. Copan's ball court included relief images of macaws, which were a reference back to Yash Kukmo, Quetzalmacaw, the founder of the dynasty. This macaw is rendered with its head jutting outward, but its wings and feet as relief sculpture. The stone markers on the ball court are unique among Mesoamerican ball courts. They too represent parrots. Temple 22 at Copan was built to celebrate 18 Rabbit's 20th year as ruler. It's situated on a raised platform representing the sacred mountain. Beneath it are caves that represent the underworld, Xibalba. The entrance to the temple, known popularly as the Cosmic Doorway, has above it a carved lintel that represents a 2-headed snake with figures entwined by its body. This is interpreted as a representation of the Milky Way and stars. Beneath the doorway is a step with glyphs and skulls representing the ancestors in the underworld. To the right and left of the doorway, the sky band continues above 2 Bakabs, or Pawatun. In Maya cosmology, there were 4 Bakabs. They were brothers who were sons of the creator god, Itzamna, and they held up the 4 corners of the sky. The Bakabs sit with one knee raised. Beneath them are renditions of the witz monster, who represents the sacred mountain and the supernatural beings that were said to live within it. We've encountered this stela before. It's stela H. Between 711 and 736, in the main plaza of Copan, 18 Rabbit erected 7 stelae, depicting figures in a new style of very deeply carved relief. During the reign of 18 Rabbit, Copan was at one of its peaks. Unfortunately, however, 18 Rabbit was betrayed by the former ally city of Quirigua, was captured and beheaded. This led to a period at Copan where little building was done. For the next 17 years, there were no monuments erected at Copan. In 749, Kaak Yipya Chan Kawil took the throne at Copan. He rebuilt the hieroglyphic staircase, adding his own history to it. He could not have known it, of course, but Copan's long period of occupation was coming to an end. The last true ruler of Copan, Yash Pasach Chan Yopat, or First Dawn, took the throne in 763. He completed the last phase of Temple 16 and dedicated the reviewing stand on Temple 11 on March 27, 769. Temple 11 was probably constructed in hopes of appeasing the gods and averting the effects of ecological problems. Copan's population of 20,000 could not survive on local agriculture, partly because much of the best farmland lay under the residential areas around the Acropolis. On the reviewing stand of Temple 11 are relief carvings thought to represent howler monkey gods. They are the principal deities of the arts, including music, and they're also the patrons of scribes. Howler monkey gods are usually depicted in pairs, and on painted vessels they're often shown writing codices or carving heads. Yash Pasach Chan Yopat was the ruler who commissioned Altar Q, on which he depicted Yash Kukmo, the founder of the dynasty, handing him a baton of authority. Beneath Altar Q was an offering of 15 jaguar bodies, probably one for each previous king of Copan. The last phase of Copan's history was a period of decline. The Copan Valley was now largely deforested, and this led to drought. Burials from the period reveal that the population was suffering from illness and malnutrition. It was probably concern about this period of decline that led Yash Pasa Chan Yopat to build a structure known as the Popol Na that served as a council house. This suggests that Yash Pasa was forced to share power with a council of elites. The decoration on the Popol Na includes mat symbols, which represent community. There are also glyphs that stand for some of the elite neighborhoods of Copan. One more king, Ukit Tuk, attempted to rule at Copan beginning in 822. He's depicted on Altar L with Yash Pasa, but one side of the altar was never finished. Apparently the work ended suddenly, and for unexplained reasons, the great city of Copan was abandoned by the year 830.